Welcome back, Commanders. Architect here once again, and we are coming to you with the final match of the Legend of the Stars qualifying tournament number 1. Wow, we are finally at the tippy top end of the competition, and we are down to just Blodir and ZLO. So ZLO, being double elimination, he lost his match. He went down into the bottom bracket, and he came back up. Now he seeks victory over the undefeated Blodir. Now this is going to be a big matchup, and of course, because it is double elimination, Blodir has not been kicked out yet. So if he does lose this match, then we'll be back for another one. But if Blodir manages to win, then that will be a first place in the qualifying tournament for him, and that will push ZLO to number 2. Alright, we are ready to go. The game is loaded up. There was a slight delay while I had to get the replay from ZLO because the one is corrupted in the vault. If you want the replay file, please check the forums for that. But let's go down to Twin Rivers and see how Blodir is going to get on against ZLO, the evil Russian. And we are off. So, what is the go here? Well, Twin Rivers. It is a very spammy map, so that might favor the crazy playstyle of ZLO, or if Blodir can get his hooks into the eco game, then, well, that may just be able to win it for him. So let's go and have a look at the opening builds. What have we got here? Well, there is hardly a surprise. It is Blodir taking the Cybran Nation. We can see he's going to throw down a first land factory. And what is that? It looks like 5 power gens and then a second land factory. So definitely looking to get some spam out of the factory gates fairly quickly. Over on this side, we've got ZLO taking the usual green color that we like to see from him, and he is Cybran Nation as well. So it is a Cybran mirror matchup on Twin Rivers. And what is this? This is interesting. That looks like a second air factory. How many power gens is he putting down before he gets into that? Well, he's going for some core mixes after a few of those, but it looks like quite the build queue. When is that? Well, actually, no, that factory is very last on the command queue there. So we can see he's throwing down a few more of those power gens, getting 2 more land factories, and then finally ending up with that air factory. So 4th air factory for ZLO. Definitely not prioritizing the air game this time around. Alright, and Blodir just still working on that initial queue. Alright, we have a very small sign of aggression out from ZLO. He's going to come in and try and pick up some wayward engineers with this hunter that he has sent out. There is a mole coming along behind that will give it some radar coverage, but it has to catch up before it will be able to do that. So where is the plan for ZLO? He's going to come around this side of the mountain and try and pick up an engineer at that mix. Now, that is interesting. It looks like the engineer probably would skip ahead right across out of the way of that hunter if it weren't for stopping to build that mass extractor. So we can see here, he is stopping. He's going to have to hang around for a while, and we can just make out that little hunter popping his head around the hill there, and that could be very dangerous for Blodir. We can see his expansion plans going out the side here and getting all of those mixes with that engineer. We've got a bit of contact now. There is a defending Mantis from Blodir, and wow, down go power gens, madly trying to block the shots from that hunter, but some very nice micro there from ZLO means that he does pick up that engineer kill. The hunter going down to the Mantis, which is to be expected, but still a valuable pickup there for ZLO, managing to take out that engineer. And we're not actually seeing any counter rating from Blodir at this time, so it's solely down to what ZLO wants to do and push Blodir around just in this early phase of the game. Now there is a mole out there for Blodir, so he will see that hunter coming. Surely he will move it back. Yes, we can see there is a bit of movement there and a Mantis rolling out to try and intercept that to keep the hunter from getting into the back here and taking out this engineer, which is providing very valuable reclaim at the moment. The engineer in here from ZLO, well, that's biting into that down transport, and well, that is going to be a leg up for ZLO in terms of being able to fill up his mass bar once again. And we have Mantis versus Mantis. They are not going to want to hang around and finish that fight, because that's not really going to go terribly well for anybody. That is just a waste, and they actually do a mutual KO on those 2 Mantis. That will leave, well, there's a mole back here. That's going to be vulnerable to this Mantis coming up from Blodir, but that's not going to be a huge amount of a win. What Blodir needs to do is get some of these units around the back. Look, there are engineers. There is absolutely nothing in defense. The nearest unit was all the way down here in his stream coming out from that main base. That's not a particularly secure location, and Blodir maybe just starting to think about going forward. And yes, we can see there's an attack move coming all the way up here and then trying to pick up that Engie. It will be too slow to, well, stop that mech's being built. That's just succeeded now, but still he might be able to slow the eco down just a small amount. Alright, how are we going in terms of eco? Well, ZLO is actually managing to expand a reasonable pace faster than Blodir right now, sitting on 35 to 25. That is actually a pretty reasonable advantage, and we can see that he's already finished the back. Well, actually, what is this? Oh, this is ridiculous. We've got a mole sitting there for Blodir, but unfortunately he is not watching, and that is going to completely block the Engie. Just a quick reclaim order on that. That would completely destroy that mole and carry on with it, but that is interesting play indeed there. Blodir actually forgetting for so long. The Engie moves off to move on to the next mech, so that will be just a couple of mass per clock that Blodir will be missing out on. Wow. Alright, we've got a few Mantis here, but Blodir not really getting them into a single sustainable group. He's got a couple of Mantis there, he's got a few Mantis back here, and any one of them is actually vulnerable to a solid push here from ZLO. But if he was to combine those units, get them into one place, he would be able to withstand the few meager units. I mean, we're not talking about many units at all at the moment at this stage of the game, just a couple of minutes in. So that is definitely the numerically Blodir's advantage, but if ZLO is good with the micro, he might be able to pick up a few small victories there. Alright, we've got a air factory online for both of these guys. We can see the scouts overhead for ZLO getting shot down there by the interceptors of Blodir, but I don't see any bombers. I don't think either of these guys really confident that they have the air power to invest resources in bombers, because they really need to make sure that those resources go into fighting units. And Blodir's got a good advantage, but he's managed to bring them all in one by one, and he is going to lose more than he really had to, but it is going to force ZLO back. There's a bit of reclaim. We can see that's all being left down there on ZLO's doorstep, and now there are too many green Mantis in there. Blodir continuing to push forward, but well, this is not a great move at this time. He is now outnumbered. All the support for his units right back here, very, very sparse, and that is going to lose big time to that dense stream coming out from ZLO's factories. Well, how many factories are we talking about? Well, we've got 7 completed, we've got an air factory online and another air factory, followed by a couple more land factories. That looks like what ZLO is putting together. And what is Blodir running on? Well, he's got the 3 back there at his starting location. He's got 3 more at the front, so that's a total of 6 land factories, and I don't see anywhere else. Actually, there is a bomber, though, from Blodir, just making sure ZLO doesn't get his hands on this island. And, well, has he picked that up? I don't know that he has. It looks like that was just a automatic attack there from the bomber. If the bomber just targets that Engie, that will completely stymie ZLO's plans. Actually, it is going to stymie the plans anyway, because ZLO's going to move that Engie off. He knows there is no way he's going to get his claws on that island. But what is this? The interceptors are going to come on in from ZLO, and wow, they are really trailing behind for Blodir all the way back here. And that means that bomber will go down. The engineer, though, it is gone, so that will, at the very least, slow down ZLO's expansion of that island, if not block it altogether. Alright, the guys are facing off in the right-hand lane here. We've got the ACU for ZLO coming reasonably far forward, but deciding to just hang around and do not a heck of a lot. Maybe he's just looking over the tippy tops of the trees there, trying to see a bit of what is going on in the Blodir camp. But what is this? A bit of a move from ZLO. That's not going to go too well, because he only had 10 or so Mantis on the front line, and there's a whole lot more than that in here for Blodir. So that's going to go back and forth, and I love it when the games go back and forth. It's much, much more interesting than one person attacking and always being predictable. So the ACU coming forward there for ZLO. Blodir will be aware of that. And what is this? He's got his ACU all the way around this side. Ooh, that is a move designed to try and stem this flow of Mantis, but ooh, I don't like the look of those numbers. This ACU here is really, really vulnerable. The nearest support unit's way the heck over here. That's going to take some time, and there's actually probably slightly more Mantis in that pack than the ACU can deal with. There's no point defense. There's not really a lot of support. It looks like Blodir, we're going to bring across those units so that they are in a better position. That will secure the ACU a little more, make him feel happier about his position. All right, we've got bombers out for ZLO now. He's going to come in and try and do some damage to these packs of purple Mantis, and they are going to succeed in that. Look at the bombs going down and just doing a whole lot of damage that. And interestingly, this is a split here of the forces from Blodir, and we are going to attempt a run by. But how long can these guys sustain a run by when they are getting pelted by bombs? Geez, at this rate they will be lucky for any of them to really get to the main base while they are getting harassed, and Blodir still not managing to take any control of the air. So he's going to try and back those up. He doesn't want to feed the reclaim. He doesn't want to lose those units unnecessarily. So he's going to back them up and try and get them out of there. But they're still taking bomber fire. They've been caught just about with their pants down by this very, very dense pack of Mantis over here, and that is not good for Blodir. He's definitely on the losing end of that particular engagement, and that's going to give ZLO a slightly numerical superiority, I think, here in the front lines, with still a massive stream of units rolling in. And whoa, look at the eco. I didn't check that for a couple of minutes, and look what Blodir has done. He is sitting there ecoing away while ZLO, well, he's not really expanding his economy much at all. He's sitting on all these T1 mixes. Let's just have a quick look and see. Well, he's got two T2s so far. That's a very unlike ZLO thing to do, to actually upgrade mixes, but that's what he's going for. But if we look at the base for Blodir here, wow, we can see a whole stack of upgraded mixes, and he may have even started to think about upgrading some of these more secure ones around the back as well. I'm just looking to see if any of those are moving, but I don't think they are at this point. But still, he is sitting on 75 mass, so he has a reasonable advantage over ZLO in terms of production. But whoops, without that air control, we've got a real problem here, and those two Corsairs managing to come in and take out that power in a single pass, that is going to wreak havoc on Blodir's power grid. He does have some inties. They're going to get in behind. They will take the Corsairs out, but oh, they really did that damage there, and we can see the massive stall there for Blodir. This is going to put him in a pretty difficult situation to come back from, dropping down to 680 power income. That is going to make it extremely difficult to try and come back in the air game from that one. So he is definitely going to have to think about mixing some AA units into his army, and well, we can see a few mobile AA coming out there now. But ooh, this is starting to look like a very, very difficult mass of Cybran to move. Wow, I can't believe that he is just going to charge on into that. There's even point defense in there for good measure from ZLO. That is going to be very, very difficult. And what's going to happen once Blodir loses a critical mass of units? Well, he is going to get overrun by these green Mantis, and also these green Mantis here, and they've already managed to get all the way around the back as well, taking out those mixes of Blodir's at the back. And wow, there's some more run-bys on this side, another mix going down. That's going to start to slow down that eco game from Blodir. He does seem to be, well, starting to have that eco situation under control, but it has cost him, and it's given ZLO a little bit of a chance to catch up in the eco game. But it looks like he's actually going to just focus on Corsairs. We've got another one floating around there. What have we got with the T2 factory? Well, that is a very, very heavy amount of assistance, especially at this point of the game. We've got two Corsairs on there. We've got two more at the front. We've got two more coming this way. That is a total of 6 Corsairs with very little in the way of air support for Blodir. Oh, this is terrible. He is getting caught with his pants completely down around his ankles. He is out the front. He had no support. He's been caught by the air game from ZLO. He is taking that Corsair fire. He's been caught by the Mantis. Oh, this is not looking good. He spent far too much time ecoing, and that is very, very bad. 500 HP left. Just a couple more shots from Corsairs, and boom. I think it wasn't even the Corsairs that got him in the end. It looks like it was actually the Mantis. Whoa, so that is the way that Blodir went down to ZLO. So what is going to happen now? Well, because it's double elimination, Technically, Blodir drops down into the bottom bracket. He comes back up because he is the sole remaining survivor, and he gets to challenge ZLO. So we're going to see a second Blodir versus ZLO match, and this time the winner takes all. Wow, okay, so let's get ourselves ready with that game. We'll put you guys on hold, and we'll be right back. There we go. The next game is ready to rumble. And wow, I can't believe that Blodir managed to go down to all of that spam and then, wow, losing the air game so hard. Wouch. Alright, so let's update our draw there. We can see there is one final match to go with ZLO there taking on Blodir. What is the map going to be, you ask? Well, ooh, I don't know if you're going to like this one. It's going to be Bermuda Locket. Oh, some of us, we love this. The rest of us, well, we really don't love it. Okay, let's get rid of this and see how this match is going to play out. Wow, okay, Bermuda Locket, whoever chose this, I don't know if I agree with you, but that is what we're going to see. So we've got Blodir, he is in the top, he's going to go Cybran once again. What is the plan for him? Well, he's going to throw down that first land factory, and we can see a whole lot of power gens now. That is greater than the usual number of Tech 1 power gens that you might think about throwing down from the commander, because, wow, look at all of that reclaim, and then look at all of that reclaim. There is so much to be had that these guys are going to need a buttload of power to be able to use all of those rocks that they're going to pick up, and we can see he's not even focusing on those core mass extractors, at least not for the time being. He will get them a little later on, but right now he can reclaim everything that he needs. Alright, his opponent, ZLO, of course, down the bottom here we can see, well, interestingly, just the 7 power gen build from him, so it looks like he is maybe using a slightly more traditional meta, forgetting about all of that reclaim, and he could find himself a little short on power if he doesn't up his energy game within a very short amount of time. So he's going to start going across reclaiming, and we can see manual reclaim orders there. Interesting, he's just going for the big rocks. He's not using attack moves, he's using those manual orders, and that's going to get him a whole lot of mass reasonably quickly, but he also wants to start expanding out and grabbing the rest of those mixes at some point, but really needs to focus on all of these power generators. We can see 2 NGs assisting that ACU to very quickly try to get that power situation under control. Alright, what are we looking at for Blodir's expansion? Well, it looks like he's going down a few manual reclaim orders in a very similar fashion to ZLO, so that may be some kind of established meta. He's also got a whole bunch of NGs helping those power gen building scenarios going down. Well, that's actually another one as well, so he is working very hard on that. He will throw that air factory down because it is absolutely critical to get a transport out really quickly, but unfortunately for Blodir, look at this, ZLO already having completed that air factory. He's already got an interceptor out, and if that interceptor can get across here, it's probably going to be able to pick up this transport, which is the first unit coming out of the air factory. Slightly riskier from Blodir. He is completely blind at this point, really unaware of what is happening, and there we go, there's a scout there from ZLO, followed up by the interceptor, and we know exactly what the plan is for that. It's going to come in home in on this transport if he can pick it up with that radar on the scout, and ooh, it looks like he's just going to be able to pick it up. It looks like it's just skimming within range. Yes, we can see the move from ZLO coming in to bring that interceptor across to this left-hand expansion. He did see what was going on, very lucky, but oh, whoa, what is this? He stopped for just a second trying to find it. He's searching for it, not able to pick it up. So unfortunately for ZLO, letting that transport slip through his fingers. I'm not sure whether that was a misclick or what, but unfortunately it did mean that Blodir got the engineers down on the ground when they probably shouldn't have got there. But wow, this is interesting. The Mantis, no, it's hunters and hunters. So just a couple of hunters, nice and quick on the ground though. They are going to be very, very quick out to this expansion, and that means the engineers are going to be very, very much at risk. And there we go. Finally, the interceptor's getting a lock on that transport, and down it goes. That was a pretty serious investment for Blodir, which has just gone down in flames. That is no good at all for him. And here we go. The hunters starting to rain death down upon those Engies. Half of a land factory built, and the second Engie goes down, so that position is lost. And what is this? Exactly the same thing, but well, luckily for Blodir, the extra walking time has meant that the engineers managed to get that factory completed. And while that is going to save Blodir's butt on that corner of the map, at least for the time being, because what is this? A bomber. This is terrible. What is ZLO doing with this air factory? Well, he's got 2 air factories now, so he is going, and a third one planned, so he is definitely going to play for keeps on that, but he is going to get both of those engines in a single pass from the bomber. That is absolutely fantastic. So he has got a few ground units around. He's got a nice number of interceptors on hand. Down goes the engie that just got completed out of that factory. This is absolutely brutal. Completely shutting down that expansion there for Blodir. Meanwhile, managing to get his own one underway, and there is absolutely no threat from Blodir at this point because he is too busy scrambling to save his investment on this side, and he is trying to shoot that bomber down. He's got just the one interceptor, and it's going to go down very, very quickly to that squad there from ZLO. And ouch, that means that this bomber, a single T1 bomber, this is absolutely ridiculous, is going to completely factory lock the production coming out of there and slowly whittle away at the HP on that thing. Wow, that is unbelievable. Just a couple of hunters and then a T1 bomber with a fighter escort. That is going to very, very much have an impact on the outcome of this game. We've got a single interceptor over here from Blodir. I don't know what the point of that is. He's going to get shot down pretty quickly. He may, if he's lucky, be able to take out some scout. No, he's going to miss that completely. So he doesn't even shut down the intel there. Meanwhile, this bomber's still just raining away. It is down to about half HP on that factory, but still, everything trying to get produced out of that factory gets shot down. Meanwhile, ZLO even landing engineers. This is so cheeky. He's going to pop a couple of engineers down on that side of the map as well, and he's going to start expanding there. Meanwhile, he's already got 2 factories down on this side. A third one is underway, and he's going to be pumping out a Mantis across this side, so they're going to start making their way. And it looks like, wow, that is seriously cheeky. He is going to put the rally point all the way up here in Blodir's base. Now that is going to very shortly find itself overrun with Mantis because Blodir has not had a chance to even think about ground forces over this way yet. And oh no, this is terrible for Blodir. Absolutely getting shut down. Another transport laden with engies, but look at all the green fighters around. That is absolutely brutal. ZLO just completely shutting that down. Whoa, it looks like he finally did manage to get the bomber under control on this side of the map, and he's starting to get some engies out from the factory. He will need to up his game over there just in time for another bomber to come on in and start doing the exact same thing again. And again, a huge fighter escort there from ZLO that is going to be very difficult to dislodge. Now, we haven't even talked about Navy yet because that is usually a thing in this game. But what have we got? 2 Tech 1 factories down from ZLO. It looks like one of them just been coming online and not having built any ships yet. And then what have we got for Blodir? Well, we've got 1 green outline of where a naval factory should be. Oh, that's not a great start given that there's already a frigate in his part of the water just there. And there's even another one over here just for good measure, because ZLO is aware that it is an option for Blodir to use some of these engies, which Blodir finally has managed to build. It is an option for him to get a naval factory into the water over here, so he will shut that option down. And this is going to almost completely cut Blodir out of the water. He's going to have to, well, what is this? He's going to throw down a torpedo launcher. That'll keep the frigates away for at least a little while, but still, absolutely nothing to contest Navy. Meanwhile, look at the eco. Look at the expansion here from ZLO. That has got to be about 75% map control, well, maybe just slightly less than that, but that is a serious amount. And interestingly, ZLO, with his usual lack of ecoing, he has actually got almost double what Blodir has. But that's not because he's upgrading his mixers, that is because he is taking the entire map. And look at all the T1 bombers, ZLO just going absolutely nuts here, trying to throw all that down. And oh, the torpedo launcher just being finished, but it has already taken a huge amount of damage. It's only going to get a couple of volleys away, and it goes down. This is going to be very, very difficult for Blodir at the moment. In comes a bomber as well. Fortunately, Blodir does have a few interceptors there. They will take a bit of fire from those frigates, but they should be able to shut down that particular bomber. And it looks like Blodir has gotten wind of ZLO's plan to send Mantas across the side of the map. So he's going to throw down 5 land factories and a Tech 1 point defense. That is going to try and keep that out. So he's going to start spamming back off his own. But with that half eco that ZLO has, that is going to make it for a very difficult proposition. Meanwhile, he's considerably losing in the air game over here. The Navy still just floating around in here is all ZLO, and Blodir, he is being pushed out of the water. What is the plan here? He can't even build serious Tech 2 point defense because he is Cybran, and they have the Cerberus turret, which is not really gonna work in this situation. We've got a bit of a push here from Blodir. He's managed to get 7 by the looks of it, and looking for an 8th and a 9th land factory on this peninsula over here. Ooh, that is going to be tough to run all of those when you've only got a total of 24 mass per tick, and you're trying to maintain this side as well. He's going to need some serious reclaim. And how are the reclaim figures looking? Well, that's actually in Blodir's favor. 13.5k to 9.4 for ZLO. We'll probably find a significant amount of the map. Yeah, we can see just how much has been cleared out of reclaim over here. And we look down at ZLO. He's hardly bothering to reclaim at all. Who needs it when you've got the entire map full of mixers? Well, ZLO doesn't need it, and he has got the numerical advantage on both sides of the map right now. We've got about 2 to 1 on here. These Mantas are going to go down very quickly, and of course Blodir has to mix in T1 AA as well because he lost air so hard that he is going to have to dilute those army units with AA. Oh, that's no good at all. And it's looking roughly, even if you just count the 2 little groups of units on there, but then very, very uneven when you look at this giant stream of Mantas coming in from this giant stack of factories, and ZLO just continuing to slam those things up and try to get rid of this side of the map with just a swarm of Mantas. Blodir, well, he's managed to get a leg up on ZLO's interceptors in this part of the map right now, so it will be a win to him. Are there enough interceptors around for ZLO? Well, actually, it looks like he has focused so hard on T1 bombers, which are doing an absolutely fantastic job of dismantling this base, but he has forgotten to build interceptors as well, so he's actually going to lose that air control right now, and those bombers are going to be very vulnerable. But I think they may have done their work, because look at the Mantas coming in. They are starting to get into the main base there for Blodir, and this is going to be very, very tough for him to swallow, because he is going to lose the eco on this part of the map and access to all of this reclaim as well. That is going to hit him very, very hard on the pocket. We can see him seriously in the red there in terms of mass spend, and I just don't know how he's going to keep up the spam with that very, very limited income and somehow get back into the Navy game. And we do see a Cerberus turret, so this is how you fight Navy as Cybran. You build Cerberus turrets and you shoot their frigates with your measly little pew-pew cannons here and make them go away. You shoo them until they leave the area, and that is exactly what ZLO's going to do. He's going to back on off, and that's going to give Blodir a chance to maybe get a Navy factory up, but that's going to be a real problem given that ZLO has now got his T2 naval factory completed, and we can see that destroyer is rolling out of the factory there. Blodir getting eyes on that. He's got interceptors over the top. He will see exactly what has happened, and that is probably something that he is going to be slightly concerned about, because he has got nothing to fight that. So he's going to bring these NGs up. They're going to Oh, what is that plan? That is not really going to work too well. He's going to try and get that naval presence established, but he is going to have a destroyer on his gate, and that is not terribly far away. We can see that it is rolling on and getting ever closer, and that should be cause for alarm for Blodir, but he's still trying to fight over on this side as well. He's just got a single mix left by the look of it. I think he's completely stopped even bothering producing out of the factory. No, he's actually continuing to invest to try to salvage something, but that is not a winning proposition at this time. And look at this green horde. I can't believe how much ZLO has got on the map. They are starting to get all the way into here. The point defense just about dead. There it goes. There is enough Mantis on here just to hold for right now, but that's not going to work too well. And ZLO going for the Corsairs once again, and this is a problem. That is a T2 reactor wreck. And that is going to be the end of it. We can see Blodir losing his power, losing his will to live, and that is actually going to mean that our finals went to ZLO, and that's going to give him a first place in our qualifying tournament. That is a very, very good play from ZLO, managing to do that to Blodir, who is no slouch at this particular game. So what we've got is, well, let's bring up our draw and have a quick look. So we've got our final match there with ZLO as the winner. Wow, that is absolutely fantastic. So we can see our top three players are ZLO, Blodir, and Nexus respectively. That means they have earned themselves a position in the grand final, the championship for the Legend of the Stars 2018. That's going to be going down right at the end of the year, at the end of December. And this is just the first of 4 qualifying tournaments. The whole point of the qualifying tournaments is to find the top players for Forged Alliance Forever, bring them together to one competition and find out who is actually the best, and they'll be getting the $500 redo prize and perhaps even a trophy as well if Legend of the Stars has organized that this year. Wow, okay, there is so much going on. We've got another qualifying tournament ready to cast as well. We've got a third one and then a fourth one and then even a backup tournament. So just a ridiculous number of matches to cast. All right, so that is going to do it for me. I will see you guys in qualifying tournament number 2.